We'll build safe communities a little bit away from where they are, where all of this danger is. In the meantime, I would own this. Think of it as a real estate development for the future. It would be a beautiful piece of land.
Would the Palestinians have the right to return?
Spent. No, they wouldn't, because they're going to have much better housing.
That was President Trump talking about his plans for the future of Gaza during an interview with Fox News. The president said the U.S. is committing to buying and owning Gaza, despite the Palestinian Authority saying the land is not for sale. Now, Trump is set to meet with the King of Jordan in D.C. Tuesday, who has rejected his proposal. Matthew Kroenig joins me now. He's the vice president and senior director of the Scowcroft Center for Strategy and Security at the Atlantic Council. Thanks so much for being here. I have to get your take on this because this area, it is fraught with questions over what country or group has a legitimate claim, first of all. So is the president's plan to buy in Gaza at all realistic?
Well, first, you're absolutely right that there's a major problem here. Gaza has been ruled by Hamas, a terrorist organization, for many years. That's been bad for the people, and that's been bad for regional security. It's led to the October 7th attack. And so now what do you do? And nobody's really come forward with a credible option. Simply returning it back to Hamas does not make sense. There doesn't seem to be any other group that can step forward. And so what the president has said is that we'll remove Palestinians, rebuild, and have them move back. And many people don't like this option, but they don't have a better one. And so I think in some ways what this is a challenge to the international community. If you don't like this option, then help us find something better.
It's a fair point that there hasn't been a workable option thus far. What are the humanitarian and geopolitical implications, though, of even attempting to follow through on this plan?
Well, I think of another recent tragedy in the United States, the Palisades fires in Los Angeles. And I don't think anybody is saying that people with means should live in their burned down houses. I think what they're doing is moving away, waiting to rebuild and wanting to come back. And so I think this is what Trump is saying. Let them move to places that are safer as we rebuild, and they can move back. And so that seems to be a reasonable approach. But there has been geopolitical fallout. Many people don't like this. They see it as trying to displace the Palestinians. And so I think the question is this temporary or permanent? If it's permanent, I think that's a problem. If it's temporary, it seems to me like there could be a humanitarian justification for that.
And I suppose whether temporary or permanent, what people believe, the perception of it is everything, because it will take a long time to figure that out. I also do want to ask you about the Russia-Ukraine war. So Trump says he spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but the Kremlin is refusing to confirm that, even going so far as to say Moscow's relations with Washington are, quote, on the brink of a breakup. So is this real? Is this optics? What's your read on the situation?
Well, in general, when a leader of a free world democracy says something and a leader of an autocratic dictator says something else, I tend to believe the leader of the free world democracy. So I suspect that there was a conversation between Trump and Putin. And then Putin's threats that the relationship is on the edge of breakup, I think he's a good negotiator. Trump has been trying to increase the pressure to try to get a better deal in Ukraine. And, he's threatened sanctions and tariffs against Russia. And I think Putin is fighting fire with fire, saying the relations are on the verge of a breakup, trying to put the pressure back on the United States. So I think we have two master negotiators here trying to pressure each other as they lead into a negotiation over the future of Ukraine.
And before I let you go, Vice President J.D. Vance, he is in Paris at an AI summit for his very first international trip in this new role. He'll also visit Munich and may meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. So, technology, the war in Ukraine, what does that say about his first steps onto an international stage? And what are you looking from him?
Yes. Well, I was at the Munich Security Conference last year when J.D. Vance spoke to many European leaders, and I'll be leaving for Munich in a few days and expect to hear him again. And I think the main message he's going to deliver to the Europeans is that European security is important for the United States, but it's more important for Europe. And the Europeans need to do more to provide the defense capabilities that NATO needs, to defend against Russian aggression. The Europeans need to do more to help the Ukrainians. The United States, after all, has global responsibilities. We're worried about China, the Middle East, and Europe. And so we do need strong partners in Europe to help us out. And I think that will be Vice President Vance's major message.
Well, safe travels over there, Matthew. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.